Forrest. At the old ball game. Hey!
Hey, welcome back to the Vintage Baseball Corner. This is Chris. Got a special edition for you today. I'm here with my buddy James. We are going to open some 86 Donruss rack packs. I'm going to search for a Jose Canseco and Fred McGriff rookies. We'll also look for a Mattingly to go with the only 86 Donruss card that I've ever had graded, and that's a Mattingly from my childhood. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to open up some cards. We're going to go through some memories. James has not been here with me on the channel before, but you have seen many of his cards in our PSA reveals if you have watched previous videos. So you have seen and heard me reference him many times. So we're going to open these up and have a good time and take things from there. So we've got a good stack of rack packs. I'm going to move these off to the side here. And we're going to get started with the first one. All right, let's start with number one. On the front, we have Scott Garrelts, Mickey Tettleton, and Mickey Hatcher. So we got a pair of Mickeys, and neither one of them are named Mantle. Let's see if I can get this out smoothly. Stack there. And this stack is kind of trying to slide back a little bit. Okay. So, all right, let's see what we got here. First cell here. We got Mickey Hatcher, Greg Walker, and some power with the White Sox. Neil Allen, a longtime reliever, part-time closer. Billy Ullman, middle infielder. George Vukovic, don't remember a whole lot about him. Jim Rice, first Hall of Famer. Let's just load up some Hall of Famers up here. It's not my favorite card of Rice because it's kind of boring with the pose, but hey, we'll take it. Jeffrey Leonard, he could mash. He could flat out hit. Danny Heap, Mets. Mike Mason, Ty Gainey, Steve Braun, Terry Francona, better known as the manager, longtime manager, now the Cincinnati Reds, previously of the Red Sox and Indians.
And Phillies.
And Phillies, good point. And also the 1994 Birmingham Barons was the manager for Michael Jordan in his year in the minor league baseball. Jim Clancy, Wayne Tollison, Tom Seaver, another Hall of Famer, very nice. Again, we'll get him up here. I'll get these organized here in just a second. Greg Nettles, who certainly has an argument to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Don't know if he'll ever make it, but was one hell of a third baseman, fielding, and also, I believe, finished with over 400 home runs. Does that sound right, James?
I don't think it was 400.
He didn't get to 400, but he had a good bit.
He had a good bit.
I'll have to look that one up.
Threes.
I'll have to look that up and put that on the screen there. All right, Mickey Tettleton.
That is his rookie card.
Rookie Mickey Tettleton. Okay, we'll set that aside here for just a second.
Fruit Loops. I don't know if you remember that. He was known for the Fruit Loops in Detroit and Baltimore.
I do not remember
slugging
that.
Home runs.
He was a switch hitter, was he not?
That I do not.
I know he hit left-handed. For some reason, I was thinking he's a switch hitter, but we'll look at that later. Dan Petrie, the Tigers. Benny DiStefano. Warren Brewster, Cubs reliever. Rick Cerrone, longtime catcher, sometimes starter, sometimes backup. And the Hall of Famer number 3 in
Timmy Raines.
Tim Raines. Very, very underrated player, and a guy that I think just completely got overshadowed, not only by Ricky Henderson, but then also by teammates in Montreal with Gary Carter and Andre Dawson. Just never really got his true due because he was a heck of a player. Ron Meredith, there's a Cub I really don't remember very well, to be honest with you. Bruce Bochy. Matt Young, left-handed pitcher. Good solid pitcher there for a while. Dickie Schofield. Didn't his dad play in the big leagues too?
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
50s and 60s.
Billy
Doran.
Darren
Dalton.
Dalton.
That might be a Dalton rookie card too.
Greg Pryor. You will know those better than I will. Greg Pryor. Bill Schroeder. Or could be Schrader. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm thinking Schroeder, but I've seen that pronounced both ways. Rick Mailer.
Rest in peace.
And Scott Sanderson, a definitely key pitcher for the Cubs there for a while. That is the second cell, and I'll put a puzzle piece down here below. All right, third cell. Scott Garrelts. Dwayne Murphy. solid outfielder for the A's. Rick Russell.
Lonnie Smith.
Bob Dernier. Leadoff hitter extraordinaire for the Cubs, especially in their 84 pennant drive.
Vance Law, the son of Vern Law.
Yep. He was a Cubs third baseman there for a while, too. Joe Cowley. Relief pitcher Mike Scott, dominating starter there for a while. And a nice 1-2 punch with him and Nolan Ryan on the
I believe Joe Cowley, though,
80s.
Pitched a no-hitter, didn't he, for the White Sox?
You know, that sounds kind of familiar, but to be honest with you, I am not 100% sure on that one. Dave Rozema. He played in Evansville, where I am from, with the Tigers minor league. Cal Ripken Jr., that guy could play a little bit. We'll stick him up on the top, too. Keep adding a Hall of Famer or 3 along the way. Still on camera there. Brett Roberge, don't know a whole lot about him. Rick Aguilera, solid starter for the Mets. Sam Khalifa. I wish I knew more about Sam, but I don't. Willie Wilson, definitely very, very good player. I would imagine he was a multiple-time All-Star. I'll have to look that one up. But good outfielder for the Royals. Ken Oberkfell, the Braves, and Jerry Willard. All right, that's going to conclude pack number 1. Pack number 2. We're going to jump in here. Ooh, look at that one.
Yeah, it's sliding on down.
The header part did not seal there.
Nope.
So we'll start on that end. Mark Thurmond, Oral Hershiser, and Stan Clyburn. Any of you watching my channel should absolutely know who Oral Hershiser is, so I don't need to go into detail much on there. But
yeah, I think he had kind of a big year in '88, didn't he?
59 straight innings, I believe it was.
I believe.
Yep. Let's do this. 59 straight scoreless innings, if you don't know that at home.
Absolute stud.
All right, let's go. Stan Clyburn. Mike Boddicker, again, solid pitcher with the Orioles. We got us a checklist. Rod Carew, another Hall of Famer. We'll sit him right here for now, and then we'll come back and put him up top. Mike Smithson, Charles Hudson, Al Pardo. That one I do not remember much of.
Me either.
Don Robinson, one of the best hitting pitchers I ever remember. Him and Rick Rhoden had the 2 best bats of pitchers that I can recall growing up. Joe Carter.
Famous for a home run.
Good quality outfielder, and yes, a big-time home run. Also a former Cub. Bob Stanley. For those of you who might not remember, but Joe Carter went to the Indians in the Rick Sutcliffe trade, where Rick Sutcliffe came to the Cubs and finished the 84 season 16-1 and led them to the playoffs. And their first playoff berth in a long, long, long time. Clint Hurdle, former manager of the Colorado Rockies. Bird Hooton, knuckle curve. The first one that I remember talking about the knuckle curve. Cal Daniels, rated rookie. He was a solid prospect and a decent player for a little while. Just didn't quite last. Andy Van Slyke, very, very good player.
Solid outfielder.
Yep. And I don't know if you remember this shot, but when he came up, he was a third baseman.
I did not know that.
I didn't either until I saw an old Cubs game, and he was playing for the Cardinals and playing third base.
I believe his son played for the Dodgers.
Herm Winningham, speed all over the place with Herm, leadoff type hitter. And there's that first cell, end of the first cell, and I did not put up Rod Carew, and Rod certainly deserves.
Gotta give Rod some love.
Yep. Rod is not in the best health these days. So I don't know how much longer he'll be with us. Hopefully still several years, but he definitely is one of the top living Hall of Famers. Oral Hershiser, we talked about him. Mike Scioscia.
Perfect combo, 1-2 punch.
Yep. Tom Reynolds. Pete Filson. Luis Salazar. Storm Davis. Again, another quality pitcher. I know he had a nice run with the 83 Orioles in their
and with the A's
team. Rick Surhoff.
Maybe it's BJ's brother.
I was getting ready to say, that's not BJ. That's
I don't know who Rick Surhoff is.
I don't either. At first I thought, well, did they not use BJ as first year or something? Don Slaught, longtime catcher. Andre Dawson.
The Hawk.
Diamond King loved him with the Cubs. Joel Davis, Bill Wegman, pitcher. Jim Gott. Ed Whitson.
Yankee fans hate Ed Whitson for that huge contract he signed. But a lot of Braves fans remember him for the 84 Pascual Perez brawl.
I was getting ready to say, when I thought of Whitson, the first thing I thought it was a fight, but I couldn't remember the details. There you go. Willie Randolph.
Solid player and manager.
Definitely a potential Hall of Fame candidate down the road. Mario Ramirez.
Don't remember him.
I don't either. Evalin Calderon.
Rest in peace, but...
There's the other Hank Aaron. There we go. Cell number 3. Mark Thurmond. Sid Fernandez. Dominant left-handed pitcher.
Very good.
He had stuff for days. Just not enough lasting power, I guess. Brian Fisher. John Christensen. Name doesn't really ring a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Hernandez, a.k.a. Guillermo.
84 MVP and Cy Young.
Yep, Cy Young and MVP both. And I do believe he also pitched in Evansville before he got to the Tigers. Or maybe I'm wrong.
I have no clue.
No, because he got traded to the Tigers. Excuse me. I'm wrong on that one. My apologies. Tom Waddell. Rick Shue. Tom Hinkie.
The Terminator.
Hell of a pitcher. Really, really good pitcher.
Ken Daly, who came up with the Braves.
Yep. And Hinkie, again, I believe there is a outside Hall of Fame case for him. I'd have to look that up a little bit more, but he was around for a long time. One of my favorite hitters growing up, Cecil Cooper.
Great, underrated player.
Man, he could rake. Didn't get to 3,000 hits. I think he ended his career in the 2,800 range. But career 300 hitter. Just an excellent hitter. Started with the Red Sox in the early 70s. Ron Kittle. One of the biggest rookies of the 80s right there. Power.
83 Rookie of the Year.
How many home runs did he have that year? Do you remember?
24, 25.
Let's look it up. He had 35 his first year. I don't know if you can see that or not. 35 his first year, then 32 and 26 his first 3 years. Just lots of power. Definitely highly regarded when he first came up. Jaime Kokenauer. Don't remember a whole lot about him.
I don't remember.
I remember the name. I just don't remember a whole lot of detail. Ken Dixon. Joe Johnson. James. I'm lost on Joe.
He came over from the Blue Jays. The Braves and the Blue Jays did a lot of swaps.
They did.
Frank Tanana, though, pretty close to 3,000 strikeouts.
Very, very, very solid lefty.
Very underrated.
Probably in tandem with Nolan Ryan for a good bit of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good lefty pitcher. And threw very hard. Ernest Riles.
Ernie Riles.
All right, there is pack 2. I'm going to
open up one more?
Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. Crack it open.
Let's see. Do we want to do Kent?
Still no Canseco.
Do we want to do Kent Herbeck and Bobby Ojeda? Do we want to do Jimmy Key and Bruce Hurst? Juan Samuel, Glenn Wilson, and Dwight Evans.
Let's go with that one.
This one, all right.
Evans. A little Dewey action here.
Again, another guy that I think could very easily be a Hall of Famer down the road. Evans was a very, very good player.
How many Gold Gloves? 8, I think?
That I couldn't tell you off the top of my head without looking it up, but he was always was near the top of the league in assists, if not at it, in outfield assists. Had a cannon for a arm in right field. And was probably better in the 80s than he was in the 70s as a hitter, I think, as he matured.
Yeah, there's a good group of guys from the 80s that have gotten overlooked.
Yeah, I think a lot of times guys get overlooked that start their career mid-decade. You know, like Evans, I believe, was 73, was his rookie. I don't know how much he played in 73. But, obviously he was a regular with the Red Sox in 75. But guys that kind of start in the middle and don't get associated with either decade and kind of start in the middle, I think sometimes those guys get overlooked a little bit. Juan Samuel, again, very good player for a long time, solid player.
Very good
for the Phillies. Jesse Barfield, another cannon from right field.
Yep.
That guy's got some highlight throws. Look up Jesse on YouTube, and you can see some.
No, he didn't get that. To right field. You're right, Scooter. Barfield's got a beat on it, and he's got it. Davis tags.
Look
Here
at
comes
this.
the throw, and
Holy cow! What a throw! Unbelievable! Barfield.
Serious highlight throws from him. Ozzie Smith, the Wizard of Oz.
First 3 guys, all Gold Glovers.
Not a big Cardinals fan growing up, as I was a Cubs guy, but we'll still recognize Ozzie's talents. Ray Searage, Scotty Fletcher. Just remember he's mostly utility guy, I think. He probably did start a little bit, but
super nice guy.
Again, Danny Darwin, I think that's our second of him.
Mm-hmm.
Tippy Martinez, solid lefty reliever for the Orioles and some of their pennant teams. I think 83 he was with them. Tim Corcoran, I do remember him. He came up, this was with the Twins, but I'm pretty sure he was with the Tigers before that, and I remember him coming up through Evansville.
Walt Terrell.
Go. Jimmy Gantner. Solid
player for a long time.
Definitely. Combo with him and
70s and 80s.
Robin Yount. Paul Molitor was a heck of a infield for the Brewers in 82. Franklin Stubbs were the early 80s. I'm not sure if Gantner went back as far as 82. John Candelaire, the Candyman. Pirates mainly, but great pitcher. Definitely a few-time All-Star there. George Bell. He could 7
MVP.
He could rake for sure.
Him and Barfield out in the outfield. Good tandem.
Definitely. I remember, actually, I saw a tweet just the other day. I'm going to stop for a second. Barfield, Bell, and Lloyd Mosby. I don't remember if it was 87 or which year it was. All three of those outfielders that played for the Blue Jays led the American League in assists in that particular year at their position.
I can believe it.
So all three Blue Jays outfielders led in assists that year. They could all throw and play defense. Shane Raleigh, lefty pitcher. Brett Saberhagen, dominant righty.
Coming off a Cy Young year, I believe.
I believe 85 was his rookie, was it not? Pretty sure 85 tops is his rookie, yeah. Really good player, good pitcher. And Tim Leary. So that's cell number 1. Let's move through the next 2. Again, I already mentioned Dwight Evans. Fits right along with those top right fielders and potential Hall of Famers down the road. Steve Trout. Lefty pitcher, starter for the Cubs for many years. Bill Swaggerty. Don't know. That's our second one of him, isn't it?
Yep.
Dave Leeper. Tom Nieto, catcher for the Cardinals. Harold Baines, an outfielder. A controversial outfielder somewhat.
Yep.
But you know what? Who cares?
DH.
Jose Cruz.
Solid player.
Again, excellent outfielder, excellent hitter for a good long time for the Astros. Definitely an underrated player and kind of forgotten now. Tommy Brookins, another Tigers player that came up through Evansville. I remember seeing him play in the minor leagues. The Tigers AAA team was in Evansville through 1983. So as I was growing up, I was watching the Mark Fidriches and Lance Parrish and Jack Morris as they came up, going to games as a kid. Bill Dawley, Chris Pitaro, infielder. Dennis Lamp was stuck around for a good while. Danny Cox, Dave Winfield, another Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
We're doing all right with our Hall of Fame guys here. George Foster.
77 MVP,
52 home runs, 130 RBI, I believe it was. In fact, he was the last player in the majors to hit 50 home runs until Cecil Fielder came along and did it.
In 1990?
So, yeah, it was more than 10 years after Foster did it in 77. But much, much power with the Big Red Machine, Mr. Foster. And from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, at that. About 45 minutes down the road from me now. Larry Herndon, good solid outfielder for many years, and Carmen Castillo. All right, we're going to do one more. We're going to stop right here after this last cell. So this will be a 3-pack day. Glenn Wilson, Mike Pagliarulo. His claim to fame for me is I saw Nolan Ryan's third to last start he ever made in Baltimore, and Pagliarulo hit a grand slam off of him in the first inning. Ryan went on to throw 2 more shutout innings and then left the game in the 4th with an elbow injury and put him on the DL, and he only made, I think, 2 or 3 more starts in his career before he shut it down. The only time I saw Nolan Ryan pitch, and Mike Pagliarulo kind of spoiled the party. I don't know anything about Jack Lazorko.
Me either.
Or Ramon Romero.
Me either.
Spike Owen, I do remember.
I do remember him.
Spike Owen played in college ball at Texas, and I remember watching him play in the College World Series. I believe he was a teammate of Roger Clemens.
I did not know that.
And Calvin Schiraldi were all teammates at Texas, if I do recall. Corey Snyder, the top prospect at the time.
That was a huge rookie card in '86.
Yes, it
Corey
was.
Snyder.
I believe he was on the Olympic team. Yep. So did he had a card with McGuire in '85, right? Yeah.
He's in that '85.
Yep, but I remember him being on that team. Carlos Ponce.
Don't remember him at all.
I'm not even 100% sure I'm saying his name right there. Tim Burtsis, Remember the name, don't remember much about him.
Yep.
My brain tells me he was a lefty. Am I right? Throws left. Sweet. Don't remember anything else, but I remember him being a left-handed pitcher. Dave Smith hung around for a good long time. I think I don't know if he finished his career with the Cubs, but he was with the Cubs late in
Was he a setup
late in his career. He was a closer for part of the time, at least.
Yeah.
For sure. Frank Viola, another underrated, forgotten player.
Yep.
Lefty, one of the best change-ups I ever remember seeing.
See, 87 or 88 Cy Young Award winner.
You know what? I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I just remember he was one of their key pitchers in the World Series and was one of the top left-handed pitchers in the game there for several years.
So good.
And then this other guy's kind of good, too.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
From somewhere in Ohio. I don't remember which town it was. Which was it? It wasn't Chillicothe, was it? Well, this says home. Doesn't say where he was born, but definitely from Ohio. I got one more here. We'll just slap him in front here. Al Nipper, pitcher for the Red Sox. I remember him. Andy Hawkins.
Who lost a no-hitter, right?
You remember details I don't. It's funny. It sounds familiar, but
yeah,
I do not remember that. Bill Buckner. Billy Buck could hit. Unfortunately, he's remembered more so for something that happened when he was in this position on the field, and it's a
shame.
Yeah, it's sad to me too because I remember watching Billy Buck come up with the Cubs and just a professional hitter, really really good baseball player. Terry Harper and Lynn Matusek is going to be our last one. So we did not hit the.
It was still fun.
Canseco or McGriff, but we did pick up a nice little horde of Hall of Famers here to join my own personal Mattingly, which I'll show you, and I almost just knocked a bunch of stuff down. I was shocked and elated when I got a 10 on that one. We had that submitted that for graded because that's one that I pulled in a pack when I was a kid, or a teenager, if you will. So that's going to end it for today. We're going to do 3 packs. Got some good players. Had a lot of fun. James, I appreciate you joining me and adding some comments and some facts. I'll look up some things and throw up some details on the screen, and we'll go from there. Again, thanks for watching. I hope to spend some time with you again soon. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe and come back and watch another video soon.